How's it going, Song of Ice and Fire fans? It's Grant from Yecats Miniatures here, bringing you day 3 of this channel's House Bolton week. And today we're going to be looking at an unboxing and analysis of House Bolton Heroes 1. So after the unboxing, make sure you stick around for mine and Brett's discussion about this box set's use in the game. So here we have the artwork. Now we have seen this before. It's really cool stuff. It's just the guys sitting around the table having just sacked Winterfell, I guess. And obviously we've got 7 individual sculpts for this box. Now it's not a very exciting box when it comes to sculpts, so I'll just open it with my Valyrian fingertips here. Get that plastic wrapping off so we can have a look at what's inside. And again, a big thanks to warfactory.pl for supplying these boxes for us to have a little look at. Such great artwork. Really cool, really chillaxed. So obviously here we have the cards for the attachments and the commander. Now there are no neutrals. These are strictly Bolton cards, so we've put them to the side for now. So if you're a neutral player wanting to use these, don't buy them. If you're a Bolton player, grab them up. So here we have the first sculpt, which is Damon Dance-for-Me with his big rope whip thing. It's quite a basic sculpt. There's not a lot going on when it comes to movement, but you know there is a lot of detail on this miniature. You know, the fur cloak, the rope itself, so all the folds and wrap around the torso. It is a really nice sculpt. You can't take it away. Really gaunt face. A lot of the House Bolton stuff does seem to be quite gaunt. Next up, we have still Shanks Walden. Now, this guy is our 3rd commander for the House Bolton faction. A really static pose, but I quite like it. He's quite a thick-set man. Big fur coats, lots of chainmail. He is actually the captain of the guard, so we would expect a lot of armour and a lot of weaponry in this guy. And that's a hell of a spear. But I'm really looking forward to getting this guy on the table. Oh, he falls well. And next up we have Sour Allen. Now this one's my most favourite with a clenched fist behind his back, because if the big sword doesn't do it, he's going to stomach punch her. But what a quality sculpt. I really like this one. I like the evil menace in his face. Very much the same as the Ramsay sculpt and the Ramsay artwork we have from the Neutral Heroes box 1. And I really like it. It's one of my most favourite sculpts in this box. And next up, we're going to have Grunt. Now this guy gives you resilience, and he looks like a man that is probably going to give you resilience. Quite a thick set, broad man. Again, there isn't much going on when it comes to movement, but still, it's a really nice sculpt anyway. With lots of stuff going on, like the panels of armour, hair tied back, quite an upset looking face. Yeah, nice. Quite a basic sculpt, but still quite nice. And next up, we have Skinner. Now this is my favourite sculpt in the entire box. Now again, extremely static, but I love the way he's holding that knife. He's obviously got a set of scissors as well around his back, which we'll see in a minute if I just turn this round. Just there behind him now, see him? Yeah, it's really cool. I really like it. Lots of character in this miniature, and he looks quite evil as well. Yeah, I really like the sculpts. Bit gut doesn't want to go for us, but still quite good. Next up, we have Ben Bones. Now, this one is an incredible sculpt because he's got a puppy, and it's the puppy that matters. Because what more do you need in war than a puppy and a big bone? Well, but yeah, really cool sculpt. Not much detail, not much movement going on, but still a really cool sculpt. And next up we have Tybalt. Now, I really like this sculpt a lot. Now, this one's a contender for one of my favourite sculpts in the box. Really basic, like a very angry ginger Santa. But he's an NCU, he's a maester for the Dreadfort. He's not, we don't expect him to be moving too much, but lots of detail on those robes and lots of panels to paint to make really cool. So we're going to take a look at these on the spinning shop. I'm going to go and grab Brett. We're going to come back and talk you through the best way to perhaps use these attachments and this new commander, excitingly, in your Bolton army. And we're back, and I've brought my BFF forever, Brett Lamford, with me to talk about the rules and the cards and stuff that come in the new Bolton Heroes Box 1. So we've just done the unboxing, Brett. The miniatures are super, super good, as we come to expect for the new Simon sculpts. Well, first and foremost, mate, how are you doing?
Hey man, I'm doing pretty well. I'm happy to be here again talking about the Boltons.
Talking about the Boltons, mate, and today we're talking about the Bastard Boys and co. Have you managed to get any games in with these guys yet?
Yeah, just some casuals. Just some casuals around Indy. They're pretty fun. They've got a little bit of a steep learning curve. I don't think a lot of newer players are going to be able to pick them up and kind of win with them. But they've got some pretty cool tools. They've got some things working for them. I'm still high on the no Varus, no Peter. I really wish that wasn't a thing, but they're struggling a little bit to stand on their own. Hopefully that changes. Maybe 7 activations isn't for them. Maybe they do need to push to 8. I think that's what Sławek is doing in Poland, is pushing them to 8 and kind of spamming out those cutthroats, and seems to be working out for him. So
it turns out we didn't need new Bolton stuff. All we needed was more cutthroats.
And an excuse to run them.
It's true. So yeah, well let's break it down then. So we'll try and fly through this box. I know a lot of people are already playing them. So up on screen first, we've got the first 3 Bastard Boys. So it's important to start with the back text on the card. So the first Bastard Boy attachment is included in your army is free. So the first time you buy a Bastard Boy, it is free of charge. Now, every single attachment in this box is 1 point. There are no 2-point attachments, which is cool, something new. Normally we get at least one 2-point attachment that we normally whine about, but all 1-point attachments. So up on screen, we've got Grunt, Bastard's Boy. Oh, I'm not going to say Bastard's Boy after every single one. These are all got the subtext Bastard Boy. So he's got the order, Resilience. When an enemy is performing an attack on this unit, after attack dice are rolled, this unit only suffers 1 wound for every 2 unblocked hits. It's an order that we're all familiar with. We have Damon Dance-for-Me, who's got Boldness and Courage. Each time this unit attacks, if it has 4 ranks, it gains +1 dice. Otherwise, it is treated as having +1 rank for attack dice. Again, it's an ability that we already know, that we're very familiar with. And Skinner has got Weaken Resolve. Each time an enemy engaged with this unit fails a panic test, that enemy becomes weakened. Some nice abilities there, just off-the-shelf abilities applied across 1-point attachments. We know that Resilience is really, to make it worth the points, it normally comes with another ability on top of it, such as the Warriors Clan Chieftain with his Iron Resolve, and the Drowned Priest now with Go Down Fighting. So, but this is only 1 point, where both those attachments are 2 points. What do you think of these guys, Brett? Are they adding stuff to the Bolton arsenal?
Yeah, I think Skinner is the weakest of the 3 that we see here, but that's not to say he's terrible. So if you circle back and watch the video on the Dreadfort spearmen, you could see some value in having Skinner close to that unit. But you would want Skinner probably in a unit that has Vicious to really take advantage of those weakened tokens. Take advantage of those panic tokens. I know you can't do this for everyone, but I feel like Skinner would be a really nice one to ignore the attachment limit, because Skinner would go really, really nice with Ramsey's 2-point attachment or with Roos's commander attachment. And yeah, that would be a heck of a unit. But Weaken Resolve, it's not bad, right? When it works, I think you're annoyed. But of the abilities that we're seeing here, I think it's the weakest one. I really like Damon Dance-for-Me in Bastard's Girls. I think it's underrated how big of a deal it is to take those shots from 4 to 5, and then the melee dice to 7, 6, 6 is pretty darn good. Bastard's Girls have always been amazing when played right, so I could see that. Yeah, that's where I would like him, is in Bastard's Girls.
Yeah, it's a solid choice, mate. Again, it's pulling double duty, isn't it? After the charging volley as well, so you're getting to use that ability twice in just one activation.
Yeah, and that's where Boldness and Courage is most pronounced as being powerful. We've seen it with the Ranger Hunters from Night's Watch, and I actually quite like it in the Thorn Watch for Baratheons as well. But resilience is resilience. We know it well. I mean, obviously that goes in your less defensive unit. Again, Bastard's Girls, or in a unit of Cutthroats is where I would put Grunt. Skinner would be the one I don't think I would make room for him at the 1 point mark, because these two would get my priority. and probably starting with Grunt. I think Grunt's the best of the three, but they look pretty good for just 1 point attachments. I like it.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll get it up next screen. We've got one more Bastard Boy, then we've got the Kennel Master and Relentless Soldier. So we'll quickly go over the Bastard Boy first. So Sour Allen. Before rolling attack dice, choose one. So it's called Brutal Sadism. It's an attack ability that goes on either ranged or melee or both. Before rolling attack dice, choose one. Attack gains critical blow. Attack gains sundering. Defender becomes panicked after completing this attack. If it did not destroy an enemy rank, the attacker suffers 2 wounds. So let's just go over this one first because it's the last Bastard Boy we see here. So obviously, if you take this as your first Bastard Boy, you'll get him for free. I really like Sour Allen. I like him in the Dreadfort Archers. I like him in the Dreadfort Spearmen as well, because the Dreadfort Spearmen, making sure you are going to peel off that 1 rank to not to push out the panic tokens. How are you playing Sour Allen? Do you like him?
Yeah, I really like him. I think he also works in Cutthroats and Bastards Girls just as well as some of the other ones. If you when you're attacking with the Bastards Girls, you pick up the Sundering on the attack and on the range attack and the melee attack. It starts to get pretty nasty. And then you've got the situation where you can throw a panicked on them when you charge in. So, you can, if it's the case where you don't need the Sundering, it's a lower defense, you're going to go ahead and take that panic token and push through some pretty nasty panic damage. I think Sour Allen's pretty darn good. As you mentioned, wherever he goes, he really works in just about everything. He's just a really well-designed piece. I really like him. Just the whole design space of this guy, I quite like it.
Okay, yeah, cool. And yeah, I agree. He's definitely a decent, well-designed piece there. I'll quickly go over these next two quickly. So we've got Ben Bones Kennel Master, who's got Sikkim, which was the original original name for charging volley. So it's nice to see the name coming back. But this time it's not charging volley. This time this unit may always reroll charge distance dice. Enemies this unit successfully charged become panicked, and if you put him in Bastard Girls, he gets reduced by 1 point. So if you're taking a Bastard Boy attachment, you get the first one for free. And if you put this guy into Bastard Girls, you get him for free. So you get 2 potentially free attachments in the army there. And we've also got Steel Shanks Bolton, Relentless Soldier. He's got Sentinel, which we know and love. It's the order where if after another friendly unit in long range is attacked, this unit performs 1 charge or maneuver action. If charging, it must target the attacker. And also it's got Roos's Vassal, so this model counts as Roos Bolton for all game effects. So just quickly on my part, I think that Ben Bones does work well in Bastard Girls, but there is a few different attachments within the Bastard Boy as well that can really make the Bastard Girls good. But I mean, I think that putting him in to a unit of Bastard Girls makes them an even better 7-point unit. I still Shanks, so I like him with Roos's Vassal. I like putting him in the Dreadfort Archers purely because of the Seeing Their Flaws tactic card. So the Seeing the Flaw tactic card, which I'll put on screen now quickly just so people can see it, is basically after enemy completes an attack action. After enemy combat unit completes an action, they become vulnerable and panicked. Then you can attach this card to the enemy to end the round. While attached, and Roos Bolton's unit is attacking the enemy loses all abilities and cannot be targeted by friendly tactic cards. So obviously that will double up because Steel Shanks will count as Roos. So Roos will be able to hit the unit, and so will Steel Shanks, and you'll get that bonus on that card. But other than that, Sentinel, I don't really know that it works that well on Bolton Infantry. What are your thoughts on these 2 attachments, Brett?
I'm gonna actually disagree with you. I think we've seen some creativity come out of this patch, right? We've seen people exploring at least and trying different things. I think the paralysis that you had from Free Folk in previous versions didn't allow you to really list explore because you didn't have a choice. You had to bring at least 8 activations to even kind of have some kind of against free. Now some of that's changed, and so we're seeing people get into more creative list building, and in that creative list building I have seen Sentinel being used more and more. I think it's a good ability, even just for the obviously I think there's a little bit of a trapping with the mentality where people just want to, well, if I can't make the free charge in, then I'm not getting the most out of Sentinel as a crap ability. The figure is where it's at. I saw Chevster doing work with Golden Company crossbows the other day. So it's pretty strong ability. You are spot on with Roos's Vassal. That is a phenomenal way to use it, but I think Sentinel help you get in position with those Dreadfort archers to potentially be shooting them in the flank, or at the very least, you'll be a couple ships away from getting them in the flank. Ben Bones, obviously, you want to take advantage of 3 Bastards, but man, if you're playing YOLO Cutthroats, I don't hate this dude in Cutthroats. I mean, it's kind of funny because the abilities sick him, so he's sicking his Cutthroat boys on you, but man, rerolling charge distance dice and then making the next when you say charge, like, Cutthroats are drooling at that. Now, then that brings up the debate, is there a better attachment for Cutthroats? Probably so, but I don't hate it. It's not that bad. The reroll charge distance could be really strong because I think, again, if you sell out to Cutthroats and that's your win condition, that's what you're going with, you'll want to be able to reroll those charge distances, and I think that alone probably makes him worth throwing in a unit of Cutthroats. I mean, that's pretty good ability. Always reroll charge distance is pretty. That's a mouthful. Anything that's always in this game generally has some pretty nice upside. I dig it. I do like Steel Shanks. I think Sentinel's great. Even in a unit that's not ranged, it's that free maneuver, man. Maneuverability is the most powerful ability in this game.
Golden Company crossbowmen OP.
We'll see. Maybe there's a reason they were 8 points.
It should be 9.
No, I can't even do it.
Right, so that's all attachments done, Brett. Let's take on to the NCU, Tybalt, Mace of the Dreadfort. I really like this guy. For 4 points, I know he's just seen a bit of a nerf come up in the recent FAQ, but I quite like him. So basically, he's got Deceitful Envoy. So Tybalt begins the game with 2 order tokens on him. Each time an enemy NCU activates, you may remove 1 order token from Tybalt. If you do, target 1 zone. If the NCU claims that zone after resolving that zone's effect, 1 enemy combat unit becomes vulnerable. If the NCU does not claim that zone this turn, at the end of the turn, Tybalt claims that zone. So the way I really like using Tybalt is to take something like the Sword Zone, and then when the enemy NCU activates, I would choose a zone that I know they don't really want, in the hope that they won't take it, so I can then move him off of the Sword Zone to then attack again. Maybe double tap a unit of flayed men, or double tap a unit of cutthroats on a unit that hasn't engaged to become vulnerable twice. I think he's quite good for 4 points. I quite like him. I know he's not absolutely game changing, but I quite like him, and it's quite a nice little mechanic he's got going on there. Tybalt, the Ginger Father Christmas. How are you feeling about Tybalt?
No, I think playing him the way that you just described is pretty good worker. I think previously, before the FAQ clarified that NCUs on the tactics board can't activate, I think prior to that he was really, really, really strong because you do it at the opening of your opponent's round and you say, okay, well, they want to claim the swords or they want to claim the bag, so I'll just say, the other one they don't want to claim. Tybalt will claim it. He's still not activated. Then I'll activate him and move him off of that. But you can't do that anymore. But the move that you described is still the best way to get the most out of him. We'll see. I think he's cool. That's a pretty nice little touch that you have there. If that doesn't end up working out and becoming strong, I'd like to see him go to 3 tokens, because I think the biggest strength of him was basically, I don't want to say forcing, but of like a wild diplomacy situation. You're not forced, but I mean, are you really going to not do it? Like, when he could still activate, are you going to not take the zone and give him another activation? I mean, he can, but the consequence is pretty severe. So we'll see. We'll see how it works. If the method you just described is now the best way to get efficiency out of him. So let's see how good it is.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think he says 4-point NCU in the day, so he's a standard point NCU. So I think he'll see some play. Well, he has to see some play, doesn't he? Because without access to neutrals, you've got limited options. Cool. Yeah. So he gets a thumbs up from me. The next up, we have one new commander in this box, which is Steelshank, Captain of the Guard. So he comes with Iron Resolve, which we know and love, +1 to panic test rolls, and suffers -1 wounds from failure panic tests. He's got a new ability called Shared Fear. Well, I believe it's new. I don't remember ever seeing it before. Each time this unit fails a panic test, all enemies within short range of this unit become panicked. Which is a bit of a strange ability, really, because it's sort of panic test. Iron Resolve will stop him failing panic tests, but you want him to fail panic tests to get the panic tokens out. So, bit of an odd combination on there on the attachment. I'll quickly go over the cards, Brett, before I invite you in to disagree with me again. And so we've got Price of Fear. When an enemy unit fails a panic test, target one friendly combat unit in long range of the enemy. They may perform one maneuver action. Again, as you say, the 3 maneuver actions are good in the game. Rush of Aggression, which we know and love. When a friendly unit performs a charge action before rolling charge distance die, they basically they count as rolling a 6 on all charge distance die, and then melee attacks gain critical blow after after the attack has been completed, unless the attack is Steelshank's unit, they become vulnerable. And it also comes with the new version of Taunt, which is when an enemy combat unit activates, target one friendly unit in long range. If that enemy could attack or charge the targeted unit, and declares any action other than an attack or charge on the targeted unit this turn, before performing the action, the enemy becomes vulnerable and weakened. Quite some decent cards there, and it's good to see a third Bolton commander. It would have been rubbish if they just kept it with Ramsey and Roos. But yeah, some like quite niche sort of cards here. Have you played Steelshanks much? Have you seen him played? What are your initial thoughts on him?
No, it's been roosting for me, so I kind of haven't deviated from them to give him a try. I don't think he's bad. Price of Fear is a pretty cool card. Shared Fear is an interesting ability. As you mentioned, he got Iron Resolve, so that's kind of interesting, but it's something. I mean, at least you're not as sad when you fail a panic test as you could be. I think the idea is to put him in something that's like Morale 7, or to stack the build with corpse piles, so he's taking the -1 wound, so it's basically like, to some extent, it's like the remorseless example or whatever it is, where I don't remember what the name of the ability, where the Weeper kills a dude and then everybody around him becomes panicked. This is kind of like that, just a little bit different. So hypothetically, without panic modifiers, you're taking 2 wounds at max from a panic test, ignoring and 2 wounds. If you roll 2 on the D3, it's the same as that ability, and then you just up out panic tokens everywhere. So I see where they're going with it. I kind of dig it. It's interesting. I think you're supposed to just all in and stack the board with corpse piles and hope that you get some benefit out of it, and it's enough to punish your opponent. Rush of Aggression it's a decent card. I mean, again, though, because the meta has switched to more offense, it's probably solid. I was just going on about Ben Bones re-rolling charge distance. I think this is a pretty damn strong card on Cutthroats, because Cutthroats can go through the bog, go through whatever terrain they want. As long as the opponent hasn't activated, they'll get their re-rolls anyway. And this counts as a 6, so you can't roll a disorderly charge. So that's a pretty strong card to play on Cutthroats and Bastards Girls. Even Blackguard, because that's a unit that people tend to ignore. It's a good way to Blackguard in the middle of the fray, get them involved, and force your opponent to deal with them, because if they can just zone them out and keep them from ever getting engaged, then they're pretty happy to deal with their abyss. But this could put them in the fray. And it's the same with Taunt. I think Taunt is with Blackguard in mind. So you're going to want to taunt them into your Blackguard unit that has Reek and Ramsey, because Reek and Ramsey are legit. And they're not going to want to charge in there to take the tokens. It's decent. It's not bad. He's not bad. I might have to try him. Even the Price of Fear free maneuver is pretty solid for Blackguard. I feel like maybe he seems like he's maybe designed in mind. All of the cards are pretty solid with Blackguard.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what you just said there about the Rush of Aggression card. Do you remember? I can't remember which podcast he said it on, but Luke Hartman was talking about Great John Umber at the was it US Nationals that he played at and he won? It was Nationals, wasn't it?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, and he was talking about the fact that, whatever unit Great John was in, he would die. So he just put him in Cutthroats, because he knew he had reckless heroism to automatically get the 6 to charge and hit stuff. So it's the same principle there. So yeah, it is solid, and obviously we've seen Luke use it in Starks and it works well. So maybe maybe we're going to see some mileage out of that with the Boltons.
Could be. I dig it.
Oh man, well that's the Bolton Heroes 1's box done and dusted with, mate. We've covered that. It's an interesting box. Loads of stuff you can play with there. Not a great deal of units you can sort of put them in. Obviously you're limited to Bastard Girls, Blackguards, Cutthroats, and is that it? Oh, and the Spearmen and the Archers. So not a great amount of units you can put them in, but definitely worth giving them a try. Chuck them in some unit, see what happens.
Man, it's interesting.
Cool. All right, man. Well, cheers for your time again, as always. We appreciate your insight into the game. We know you played the game for long enough now that you're probably all right at it. So
just right.
Just all right.
No, it was fun. Thank you for talking about the Bolton boys with me. I appreciate it, and thank you for everyone for listening.
Yep. Cheers for your time, everyone. If you like the video, if you like the Bolton content we are pushing out at the minute, make sure you do like the subscribe to the channel, like the video, so that the YouTube analytics will pick it up and show more people what it is we're doing. And we'll see you around, man. I'll take care. I'll speak to you soon.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.